I want to know all about you, Lisa. And let's see, what do we have? Do you want me to? Actually, no, you tell me about you.
Okay, so my name's Lisa Tauai. First time you don't succeed, Tauai again.
I love that.
My husband's Samoan, so that's where I get that last name. And I am a registered dietitian. I've been a dietitian for 27 years now, 20 years of which was spent in the United States Air Force as a dietitian. So got to see amazing things, meet all kinds of incredible people, travel all around the world. I retired in 2017 as a lieutenant colonel. And it was just an amazing career. I learned so much about myself. It grew me personally and professionally, and I'm still able to hopefully pay it back now that I'm also working at Nellis Air Force Base here in Las Vegas, working with our warfighters, trying to improve their nutrition and ultimately improve their performance.
That's amazing. Actually, I noticed on your bio that we were stationed at Ramside at the same time.
Oh, yes. I know, right? I still can't believe that.
There at the same time, and we're just finding. So I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to go straight in it because, we're running late and I feel bad, but I want to play a video for you. And I want to hear your thoughts on that because that's something that I'm really conflicted about. And while Vasily was preparing the first video, I was a vegan for 6 years. And then I got very sick. So I'm going to play this.
Massive controversy. Wait a minute. What about the other side? Could meat be killing you?
You equated red meat to tobacco, and 1 egg equals 5 cigarettes.
Is it scare tactics?
You gotta tell them the truth. Seriously, guys, stop for 1 second. That's not science, that's a lie, Trevor. No, I disagree with you.
This debate that holds your health in the balance.
And you had an obligation, I believe, Kip, as a director to your viewers, to change people's minds.
Well, I have an obligation to set the record straight so that people don't die. I'm a physician. I'm a pediatrician. I take care of obese children.
Can I just address your comment that we are patently false? Because I've got so much science to address that. So you say that sugar can't cause diabetes, but there was a recent meta-analysis, 16 studies. Sugar actually decreased the amount of diabetes in that meta-analysis. In the EPIC study, 500,000 people found 12 years, replacing 5% of their fat with fructose, which Dr. Lustig hates like crazy, dropped their diabetes rate 30%.
Diabetes is not and never was caused by eating a high carbohydrate diet, and it's not caused by eating sugar. The cause of diabetes is a diet that builds up the amount of fat into the blood. I'm talking about a typical meat-based, animal-based diet.
They did a huge study, in that EPIC study, 500,000 people. Carbs consumption was inversely related to diabetes. In other words, the more carbs someone ate, the less diabetes they had. But meat was strong according to this. Get that aha moment. The starches, the carbs are good for you. They're not bad for you.
If I eat a sugary cookie, the sugar lures you in like the Trojan horse, but waiting inside that cookie is a huge load of butter or shortening, and that's what fattens you up. And that's the part that leads to the diabetes. It's the fatty food. Not this one.
I watched a documentary called What the Health. Have you seen it?
It's filled with a lot of propaganda.
Propaganda. Damn, those guys in there like the Nazis. I remember them.
They used a lot of discredited studies, and there's a lot of epidemiology studies that'll connect things.
Epidemiology, what does that mean? Like an epidemic?
We could pull up what the actual.
It's about time Jamie pulled something up.
Epidemiology. The way I would describe it is, they would do these studies, and essentially it would be they would ask you what you eat on a daily basis, how often you eat meat, and it's basically a survey. And in that survey, they would say, well, there's a direct correlation between people that eat meat and diabetes. So let's pull up the definition. But the problem is, what is causing here a branch of?
Because you're already a step ahead of all this. You're a pro. What are your thoughts on this? It's a lot to digest.
It is a lot to digest because the concept of what they're talking about is so different than what a lot of people believe healthy eating is. And so many of us eat meat, right? And we've been eating meat since we were very young to where we're at now. And to change that idea in their mind of switching from not eating meat to eating all plant-based, based on what they're talking about, is a hard thing for people to literally digest and wrap their heads around. And I believe that plant-based diets definitely do reverse and prevent chronic disease. There's just hundreds of studies showing that. So now whether meat, the consumption of meat causes chronic disease, I think that a lot of it comes down to moderation, in particular with how much meat they're taking in, and the kind of meat as well. And I also believe that everybody's a little different in terms of their biochemistry. So some people may really feel better eating some meat and having some of that in their diet versus others. But them feeling better and then what's going on internally are two different things too. Because based on their labs, we may find that their diets that may be a little bit higher in meat are causing their cholesterol to go up, are causing some problems with blood pressure, maybe even causing them to gain a little bit extra weight. So much of it is individualized. But I do believe 100% that having more plant-based foods, whole foods in the diet will help everyone, undoubtedly. And whether you have to, cut down maybe a little bit on meat and substitute those plant-based proteins in there, I think that is a real important thing for people to consider doing. Maybe doing meatless Mondays, just gradually moving in that direction. They don't have to be absolute, vegans or vegetarians, especially right off the bat. It takes time to adjust to those different ways of eating. But everybody is very different in terms of what works best for them. I've been a vegetarian now for about 4.5 years, and it works great for me. Some other people that may try doing that, it may not work as well for. So, but I think if they're eating more on the plant-based side, specifically more fruits and vegetables, some additional plant-based proteins, they'll feel better. And chances are their labs will reflect it too in terms of becoming overall healthier because of that.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on the whole 1 egg equals 5 cigarettes? That blew my mind. I'm like, wait, what?
It sounds kind of extreme, doesn't it?
How is this even?
So eggs, just like anything else, moderation is really key. It truly is. So I personally don't believe there's a food that can be that bad to consume, even if you're just doing it now and then. So egg whites are one of the highest biological forms of protein, first of all. So it's one of your best absorbed proteins most bioavailable proteins you can get in your diet. The egg yolks are very high in B vitamins and iron. So there's a lot of nutritional value to the egg yolks, but they're extremely high in dietary cholesterol. And if you already have high cholesterol, your body's producing extra cholesterol, like your liver overproduces it, and then you're taking in these egg yolks throughout the week, chances are your cholesterol will be a lot higher than it should be. So with egg yolks, I always recommend limiting them to no more than maybe a couple a week. If you want eggs, eat more of the egg whites. So in terms of it being equivalent to the cigarettes, I would have to delve into that maybe a little bit more to see what studies are equating them to being that bad.
Strong stance.
It is a strong stance. And I really feel, based on everything I've read and my education, that all foods fit in there somehow. And if people really do enjoy eggs, just controlling the amount is important, and just choosing the egg whites most of the time. I really think that's the key when it comes to eggs, for sure.
So that egg 2 a week. And for the sugar, there are so many studies, sugar is bad, it's true. But then you have this one saying it's not bad. So I'm like, okay, people, you got to make up your minds. I don't trust doctors, but right now it's like, this is confusing because you have studies. So what are your thoughts on that whole sugar situation?
So you're right, though. You hit it on the head. A lot of this is very confusing. And you see one study saying one thing, you see another saying something else. The key with studies is just looking at what the majority of studies are saying. So when you get hundreds of studies showing one particular thing, then you can pretty much count on that being true. But studies, depending on how they're written, how they're performed, who's funding them, there could be a lot of confusion. Yes. can be a lot of confusion with them, and you have to take some of it with a grain of salt until you see more and more studies performed that are legitimate studies that show the same thing. So when it comes to sugar, I believe not all sugar is created equal. So in other words, you want to get your sugars more from naturally occurring sugar. So they were referencing fructose. Fructose is a sugar that's naturally occurring in fruits. So fruits are very good for you, even though there's a lot of people out there that feel they need to cut them out because of the sugar in them. So yes, that fructose sugar is going to cause your blood sugar to go up. That is completely normal. But the nutrients you're getting from that fruit override any of that, because all those nutrients are the most important thing. All the vitamins and minerals and isoflavones and phytochemicals and all these things that they have that help prevent or even reverse disease is what's important. And like anything else, you want to control portions. I'm not telling people to go out and eat a whole watermelon. That's probably not the best idea. It's a lot of sugar at once, especially if it's somebody who is diabetic or needs to control their blood sugars a little bit more because of something like that. So controlling portions is important. I personally have a fruit at every meal to ensure I'm getting about 3 a day. And then also include the vegetables in there too for each meal to be sure I'm getting about anywhere from about 6 to even 8 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, which are the true elements in the diet, one of many actually, that really help prevent and reverse chronic disease. So, and when you're talking other types of sugars, like there's also sugar found in dairy products, a lactose. So that's more of a naturally occurring sugar too. And then you have your added sugar that's put in, name your dessert, cakes, pies, cookies, candies, regular soda, regular Kool-Aid. That's the added sugar you find in foods that you do want to try to keep down, just because that sugar is just giving you nothing. It's giving you just a lot of extra calories that most people don't need. And you find that sugar on the nutrition facts label. So if you look right underneath total carbohydrate, you'll see dietary fiber, and then you're going to see an area that says includes so many grams of added sugar. That's what you want to zone in on and make sure the foods that you select are low in that area when it says includes so many grams added sugar. That's just sugar they're adding to the food to make it taste good. It's just table sugar. So that's really the difference. So I'm not as concerned about the naturally occurring sugars as I am the added sugar they put into foods that we don't need. Most of us don't, unless you're out there doing a triathlon and need some quick energy. We don't really need all that extra sugar. But whether or not it causes diabetes or not, it does definitely in terms of changing blood sugar. Yes, it alters the blood sugar very dramatically. Big peaks, in particular, with blood sugar readings when you're having foods that have a lot of that added sugar. But the key is just taking in things in moderation, spreading out those carbs a little more evenly throughout the day for sustained blood sugar and also sustained energy.
Oh, what is your you said you have fruit every day. What is your daily routine? If you can walk me through it,
And this is just me. I mean, this is what I know my body prefers, but I eat about every 3 to 4 hours. What I do, I don't skip meals ever. If I do, I get hangry. So I'm not a meal skipper. So I feel like I need that extra energy to keep my blood sugars more regulated, keep my energy levels high. And also if I skip meals, my blood sugar can go too low too. So for me, it's very important to eat more regularly. So I eat about every 3 to 4 hours. I either have a small meal or a small snack. I spread out my protein as well. So each meal is very balanced. So I have the fruits and vegetables each meal. I have a lean protein, also a whole grain included at the meal, very well balanced and broken down in the right proportions of carbs, proteins, and healthy fats too. Because your body can only utilize so much at once. A lot of people don't realize that. So if they're skipping meals, they're not able to utilize all those macronutrients they're getting in this big meal that they may have, especially at the end of the day when most people do that when they have more time. So they're not able to actually utilize those macronutrients. And unfortunately, it's kind of a waste. They're getting too much protein at once, too much carbs, their blood sugar is probably skyrocketing. So for me, it works so much better spreading the meals out, and I feel better because of it. So that's just me, but I think across the board, most of us do better by spreading out those nutrients throughout the day.
So eat often, little and often.
A little bit and often, right? I try not to eat when I'm not really hungry, but my body now gets hungry about every 3 to 4 hours. You just get used to it after a while, and your metabolism starts to shift, and you're able to burn more calories just at rest because your metabolism's increasing as you're feeding your body a little more frequently throughout the day.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's benefits to it for sure.
Yeah, I'm learning so much from you. And there's another thing I'm actually very I'm interested in finding out if we can play the second video. This thing I don't even know how to pronounce it. Hold on, it's nicotinamide, dynamite.
In the
The
meats.
NMN.
Oh, the
This
NMN.
new
Oh, yes.
everybody
Yes.
go all over this NMN crap, and I'm like, what?
Yes.
Hold on, I need to
That's-
know more about this. Is it? Or maybe we can play.
Headlines popping up all over the place claiming that supplementing with nicotinamide riboside, which is a form of vitamin B3, increases cancer rates. The drama stems from this paper here, which concluded that NR supplementation results in a significant increase in cancer prevalence and metastases of triple-negative breast cancer to the brain. This is a big deal in the longevity space because many people use vitamin B3 supplements such as NR or NMN to support their NAD levels, and NAD is a molecule that's central to our metabolism. And personally, I use 50 milligrams of niacin, which is also a form of vitamin B3, for the same reason. So the last thing that we want to do is take a supplement that will increase cancer rates. But to cut to the chase, this whole saga is a classic example of people reading an abstract of a paper, panicking, and then extrapolating all sorts of nonsense. So instead, let's dive into the details of this paper and make sure to subscribe. The authors manufactured highly aggressive breast cancer cells and then directly injected them into 19 separate mice. That in itself is a massive red flag. Normal mice and humans don't just have highly aggressive breast cancer cells injected directly into them. Instead, cancer develops by a series of mutations in the cells that cause uncontrolled growth. In humans, we've got a fantastic study that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and it was looking at nicotinamide, which is also another form of vitamin B3, to see if it could be protective against skin cancer. This was a double-blind, randomized controlled trial where half of the participants took 500 milligrams of nicotinamide twice a day, and the other half took placebo, and the study ran for 12 months. At the 12-month mark, they could see that the rate of new non-melanoma skin cancers was lower by a whopping 23% in the nicotinamide group compared to the placebo, and this was statistically significant. This led to the conclusion that oral nicotinamide is safe and effective in reducing the rates of new non-melanoma skin cancers in high-risk patients. Therefore, it's plausible that by supplementing with vitamin B3, we are supporting our NAD levels, leading to less DNA damage and less cancer rates. But the new paper that's caused all of this drama completely bypasses that probable protective effect. Plus, the study only used 19 mice, so by week 10, 7 out of the 10 mice in the nicotinamide riboside group, they had detectable tumors, so 70% of things, while only 5 out of...
I don't know, FDA didn't approve it. But that might actually mean they're good because I don't trust FDA. So are they safe? Some say they are, some say they're not. Then is this are these supplements beneficial? Do they really work?
So generally speaking with supplements, what I have always told all my patients, everybody that I've worked with over the years, is to make sure they understand what they're putting into their body and that we don't truly know what's in some of these things. So that's the first step, is I always have them take a deeper dive into what they're putting into their body. So for nicotinamide, and it's more of a form of vitamin B3, that one to me, if you take an excess of it, your body will actually rid itself of it. I don't know if they didn't talk about that in that particular video, but it's safe in the sense that B vitamins in excess is a water soluble vitamin, so your body will just rid itself of it. I take a vitamin B complex. I take one of those every day, just given that I'm a vegetarian and I know I don't always meet my vitamin B, all the series of vitamin B in there. I know I don't get all of that, so I take that supplement as just a cushion. But I also know that I'm not utilizing all that because my urine is like a bright color. And that's how you know it's going out in your urine. It's expensive urine is what I call it. But I do it as a safety net. So point being is what I'd recommend was something along those lines. If they're recommending, I would use, there's a website called opss.org. It's called Operation Supplement Safety. We use it for our warfighters, and what it's for the Department of Defense, but anybody can get access to it. So if they go in there and they need to score the supplement they're interested in taking. So there's a section in there about one tab that you can click on saying rate your supplement. So you can get in there and put in the information on the supplement, kind of go through questions that ask you on this scorecard. And it will tell you at the very end of that scorecard if it's considered maybe safe to take or more pure or not. And it's a really good thing to do for any supplement somebody's interested in taking, is to go through that scorecard and actually be sure that what they're taking is pure. Because we don't always know what's in them. That's the issue. Yes.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? You're so amazing. Do you have your own practice? Can they find you on social media? How can they get, your...
So thank you for that, by the way. You're so nice. I love doing what I do as a dietitian. It's so much fun helping people. So you can find me actually on Instagram. I think that is my first and last name, LISATAUAI, and just find me on there and follow me. Yep. And you can find me on Facebook, same thing, except it's LISA.TAUAI. And then another great way to reach me is I've got a website. It's www.tauaiNutnugs.com. So it's TAUAINUTNUGS.com. And finally, they can email me too at lisatauai@yahoo.com. And I'd be happy to answer questions. Anything people need, I'm here to assist. I just want to help spread more information out there, solid information on healthy nutrition and overall wellness. So people feel better for the long haul. It's what it's all about.
We totally need that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome me. Thank you.